lock your doors, check the locks, and block toxic people, please. Did he even ask you to be his Valentine?
I guess curious and snooping around. I think that's all it was.
What do you mean? See, sitting next to the person is one thing, but imagine having to pay for your worst enemy's dinner. I'm telling you, I think your friend is in love with you. Hey guys, I'm V and welcome to today's episode. Now, this is a very special week. I'm very excited because this will be the first time I am going to be watching the Super Bowl and actually paying attention. Previous years, I've watched it and I cannot tell you one game where I actually remember who won or what happened, except I remember the ads though. But this year, I've made a goal. I don't know why, but just for the fun of it, my fiance and I, we're going to watch the game. I'm going to try to pay attention and understand what's going on. And not gonna lie, I still enjoy the ads very much. So very exciting weekend. And then next week is Valentine's Day. I don't know about you guys, but it is such a love-filled holiday for me. I've always loved it because I remember I would send my sister flowers or my mom flowers. And I think it's a day you celebrate all types of love. And it's great. I think it's just awesome. Now, today's theme is hot and cold. I think it's a very appropriate theme because when I think of relationships, generally, you want it to burn hot with passion and fire and romance, right? But there are moments where it's freezing ice cold. You have no idea what's going on. You're plunged into the waters of confusion. So today we are going to be diving into the stories and figure out which route OP's kind of navigating in their relationships. So let's get into it. Now, our first story is from the subreddit aita. Am I the old for telling my sister she doesn't deserve our mom's attention and sympathy after finding out her fiance cheated? Throwaway account, I, 26-year-old female, have a younger sister, Bayla, 23-year-old female, and we've had a tense relationship for the past 10 years. Back when I was 6 and she was 3, our dad, 47-year-old male, cheated on her mom, 47-year-old female, which destroyed the family. My mom was working hard in med school and while also trying to parent me. And my dad was the type of man who was resentful that my mom had the audacity to find a way to continue school instead of dropping out and being a wife to him. Instead of talking to my mom, he became passive-aggressive, would try to sabotage, and eventually start his affair with my stepmom, Judy, 44-year-old female. Something my mom found out about after coming home and catching them in her bed. Yikes, I do feel like we just teleport into a telenovela, but let's go. Let's see. Bayla and I were really young, so my mom decided to not tell us the truth, and Judy used that to get in our good graces. I was always polite, but distant. But Bayla was young enough for it to work, and it wasn't long before she started calling Judy mom, which really ticked off my mom. But Judy and my dad loved it. I found out the truth when I was 10 and became a lot more cold and angry whenever I had to go to my dad's place. My mom tried to put me in therapy, but Judy and my paternal grandma didn't think it was needed, so my dad wouldn't consent to it, which my mom had to take him to court over. When Bayla was 13, she started getting on me about refusing to want to do anything with Judy for Mother's Day, as well as not helping to convince our mom to share the day with Judy since they were both our moms, and I snapped and told her the truth. She didn't believe at first, but when Judy's brother confirmed it, she did sulk about it for about a week, but then went back to being loving towards Judy. In her words, quote, "It was a long time ago. Quote, cheating happens. You can't stop love, and that everything worked out in the end." The inner voice in me is saying, she was only 13. She's a child. You cannot take it out on a child because she doesn't know. She has complicated emotions. She's young. Maybe she'll change her mind later. Who am I to judge? But let's see. Opie says she said that frequently to mom and started a campaign to try and force her mom to forgive dad and accept Judy. She actually said that she would be a bad mom if she hated her dad and Judy more than she could love her. To her credit, my mom did try, but Judy was such a passive-aggressive mean girl witch that mom just washed her hands of the situation. I see what you did there, OP. Mean girl witch? Okay, we both know what you really wanted to say. OP says when it was time for Bayla's high school graduation, she gave her mom an ultimatum. Either sit next to Judy for the entire ceremony and pay for her and her dad's share of the bill for dinner. My mom was going to pay for everyone else but them. Or she won't be invited to her graduation at all. I am trying to be forgiving and patient with your sister, OP. But, okay, when she was young, like 3, she didn't know any better. When she was 10, and she found out the truth, or 13, actually, when she was 13, she found out the truth. She's still young, okay? She just found out the truth. It's hard to process. Adult relationships are difficult. Okay, fine. But high school graduation time, that means your sister was probably like, Bela was probably 17, 18, like 17 at the youngest somehow, most likely 18. I feel like that's old enough to know, not that I'm saying you should pick a side, but to not, I guess, excuse the wrongs of your dad and Judy. I'm judging kind of hard. Like, we already know Judy and dad, like the stepmom and dad, are complete trash right now. But come on. Oh my gosh. Stepmom really has your sister wrapped around her finger. What is it? Oh, it was a long time ago. That has the same energy as get over it. Get over it. It's history. Cheating happens. Ah, yes. That's that right there. That's exactly how we want all young adults to approach love and relationships. It happens. No. You know what happens? Accidents happen. Like, oh, whoops, instead of getting the matcha ice cream Haagen-Dazs, I accidentally grabbed mango Haagen-Dazs, or I accidentally grabbed two ice cream jars. Wait, ice cream jars? Ice cream packages? Is it jars or packages? Ice cream boxes.
Are they cups?
Really? I guess you can call them cups. So,
Containers?
yeah. Oh, I guess two ice cream containers. Like, that's an accident. You mean to reach for one and oh no, you accidentally grab two into your cart. That's an accident. But I don't know, falling into bed with someone else and starting a whole affair, that seems like a stretch to say, oh, it happens and whoops. And everything worked out in the end and you can't stop love. What I feel like Bela, the sister, is the type to hang those, the sayings like eat, pray, love, or don't stop, or what is it? You miss 100% of the shots you never take posters on her wall. And then like completely ignore the advice she has on her walls. Like she feels like that to me. I'm kind of pissed. And now the ultimatum, this is just nasty. I will give credit to Judy. She's a mastermind. She knew exactly what she was doing. Stepmom knows. Let me get this straight. You have an affair with a married man, and then you turn their daughter against the mom and to be on your side somehow? That's just diabolical. And now Bela wants mom to not only sit next to the woman that contributed to the destruction of her marriage, but to also pay for their dinner? Oh no. See, sitting next to the person is one thing, but imagine having to pay for your worst enemy's dinner. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. That's just, no, no, no. No, that's where I would put my foot down as well. Absolutely not. Well, let's see what mom decides to do though. Our mom sat out the graduation and didn't attend the dinner. Judy made a post about how evil some mothers can be for not putting their child first, which Bela liked and shared. And mom took back the car she gave Bela. It was still in her name. Our mom still paid for Bela's college tuition, but she wouldn't pay for a room and board like she did me, and she accused our mom of favoritism. After that, Bela and mom went very low contact, and that's how it's been for years. During this time, Bela met, dated, and got engaged to Ethan, 26-year-old male. She did send mom an invite, but I think that was just to get some money out of it. Unfortunately, the engagement was called off because Ethan ended up cheating, and Bela found this out after going to the doctor and finding out she caught something from him. Bela reached out to mom, but all she got was a, "I'm sorry you're going through this," text. Bela was furious, but I told her, given how she treated her mom and dismissed what dad and Judy's actions were, she shouldn't expect much. Bela, my dad, Judy, and some paternal relatives are calling me an a-hole. But am I? Okay, if I was OP, I'm not gonna lie, I think I probably would have said, sis, really horrible what you're going through. I'm very sorry you caught something from your cheating trash piece of a fiance. But remember, in a year from now, you're going to think it was, quote, a long time ago. And also, remember, cheating happens and it will all work out in the end. And you can't stop love. Your fiance found love, even if it wasn't with you. Is that petty? Is that mildly?
A bit.
I mean, that's what the sister said. That's exactly what she was saying to the mom, trying to convince her, "No, mom, you can't be in the way of stepmom, Judy, and dad's love. You're in their way. You should step aside and accept them." That's what she was preaching. So, I mean, I think it's only fair that she, you know, does as she preaches, no? But that's just me. Is that a little harsh that you said that? I don't even think OP was that harsh. And of course, okay, obviously your dad, Judy, and the paternal relatives are all going to chime in about this and say, "Oh, how could you say that to your sister?" Yada, yada, yada. I mean, I think it's very telling, especially the reaction, because not only their roles, obviously they're on his side of the family, they're going to say that more likely, but how do they know? So Bela, your sister, went around and probably stretched out some of the truth, made it harsher than it was as well, and went tattling pretty much to everybody in the family about what you said. The cheating fiance aside, I mean, I'm very sorry for her sister, Bela, but I don't think you're an a-hole. Petty? Yes, but I just don't think it hits that a-hole level, if that makes sense.
I guess I missed what the OP said exactly, but I don't think she said that her sister deserved it, right?
No, she said, "Given how you treat our mom and dismiss what dad and Judy's actions were, you shouldn't expect much." Because Bela had gone to the mom asking for support. And at that point, they've already been very low
Right,
contact.
but I mean, you can consider pointing out the truth. A-holish, but
Some people can't
that's a
accept the
stretch.
truth. Some people can't accept the truth, though. And I think that's how they took it. That's how sister seems to take it since she went tattling to everyone she knows. It's very interesting to me because I don't know if you guys believe in the concept of karma. I don't know exactly if I believe in like straight up karma, like, oh, you do something and it'll come back to you immediately. It's more so I think there's a butterfly effect of things that you do. Not that somehow her treatment towards mom is somehow resulting in her cheating. No, but it's more like how you treat people is how it will be returned to you in some ways. Like, for example, sister, I think, isolate the mom out. So now that she wants support, mom just kind of sent a text like, "So sorry this happened to you." But she's not going to open up and all of a sudden be, "My daughter, come back to my arms. Let me comfort you." So I do feel like the sister kind of reaped what she sowed for trying to force her feelings on the mom for so long, for so many years. I don't know. I think some people can't take the truth, and your sister is probably one of them, OP. I don't think you're the a-hole, but let's see what some of the comments say. First comment from Leo the Strange. In her words, quote, "Cheating happens. You can't stop love." I think I would have harshly reminded her of those words. Your sister can go cry to the cheating dad for sympathy. You and your mom are definitely not the a-holes here. P.S. I think your mom is an absolute star for going through studies, raising kids, and dealing with a cheater, plus the one he cheated with. I like that we're on the same page here. But also, oh, I do want to applaud the mom as well because I hate it when people say, "Oh, I cheated because my partner was doing XYZ." Come on, don't pin it on your partner. Your partner didn't do anything, okay? You made the choice to go out and look elsewhere. The fact that dad is saying, "Oh, mom wasn't being a wife. She's too busy with school and she wouldn't drop things." I What a bizarre reason to say that you cheated. "Oh, my wife is trying to better herself and probably our socioeconomic status by furthering her knowledge and getting a degree. But shame on her. So I'm going to start looking elsewhere." The logic is not logicking for me. What? "I fear that the rest of your family plus your sister have been infected with a disease called 'It's never me. I'm always the victim. I'm never the problem.'" Another comment. Oh my goodness. I love the username. Well, I hate it and love it. The username is no cockroach. Why? Commenter says, "Not the whole, why is Bela upset? If she can insist that your mom should forgive your dad and Judy, she should forgive Ethan and his affair partner and attend their wedding and send a very expensive present or pay for their wedding dinner." Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. By that logic, you know, be forgiving, be all loving towards someone who wronged you. Okay, makes sense. Last comment. Not the forgiveness bus is a ride set up by people who do awful things and don't want long term consequences. Oh my gosh. I feel this in my soul. Have you guys ever met anyone who will continuously do wrong or say the worst things ever? If you call them out on it, they'll say something like, "Oh, it was just a joke. Don't take it too hard." Or, "Oh, I didn't realize that that hurt you." But they say it in the most like innocent, like fake innocent tone after saying the most horrible thing where you're just like, am I crazy or is this happening? Yeah, I mean, I if I can chime in with a word of advice for you, OP, I think you're very much better off maybe also going low contact, but instead of with the mom, with Judy, your dad, his paternal side, and your sister. But that's just my 2 cents. Any advice for OP?
Yeah, I tend to agree. Well,
Yeah?
I'm just kind of baffled with OP's sister's kind of entitlement about basically how she was treating her mother, and then still asking for all these things afterwards.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. So she was also mad because mom yanked part of what she was gonna pay. She still helped pay for her sister's tuition. She just didn't pay for, I think, the room and board. And sister's still salty about it.
Boo hoo.
Can you imagine being in a position where someone pays for your tuition, even after all the horrible things you said and did to them, but you're still somehow entitled to be mad because they didn't also pay for your housing and food and whatever not, and didn't pay for the affair partner's dinner? I'm baffled. I don't know. I have to say kudos to Trudy, the stepmom, or not Trudy, Judy, my bad. Judy, the stepmom, right? Yes, Judy. Because I don't know what kind of education, what kind of brainwashing she was doing to your sister, but it worked. I don't know. That's something to be studied right there. And if you guys have comments or advice for OP, let me know. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to like this video and hit subscribe, guys. Although if you are listening to me on Spotify, don't forget to rate this episode 5 stars. Now, our next story is a little bit controversial. It's a hot topic, and it is also our wild pick. The story is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole? Am I the A-hole? I like it cool, but my husband likes it hot. I, 40-year-old female, and my husband, 41-year-old male, have a constant battle over the temperature of the house during the winter heating season. I would ideally keep the house between 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, unless it is super cold outside, in which case I might go as high as 72 to 74 degrees Fahrenheit. The higher temp would be a rare exception for me. I do typically like to be cooler overall and wear fewer layers and lighter fabrics. He prefers to be warmer overall, but wants to be able to lounge around the house in a t-shirt and sleep shorts when he's in for the evening. He rather adamantly insists that he's the sole controller of the thermostat, of which there is only one for the whole house. He says growing up that he never had any choice in the temperature of his home, and that as an adult, he will always have the choice and control. This means that the thermostat has a locked out range of 72 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and he typically maintains it at 77 to 79 degrees Fahrenheit and is comfortable. He will occasionally make changes when I tell him how miserably uncomfortable I am at that temperature, but his concession is typically only a couple degrees to perhaps 76 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to hold it. Man, is your house a sauna? As a warm temp girly, I think I like it warm, but the warmest I want it to be in the house is probably 70 degrees. The warmest. 77 to 80? Is he a fan of tropical climates? Maybe he should just. Would you guys consider moving to something like, I don't know, like Florida or Mexico or California? I don't know. Like somewhere where it's very warm, more closer to year round? No? Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to say I'm picky with my temperature, but at some point, it's just, if you're living with someone else, you got to compromise. Like literally, M, my fiance, behind the camera here, and I have literally had a discussion about this. He likes it a little bit cooler. I like it a little bit warmer, but at least I feel like our differences in degrees of preference is literally one or no, maybe 2 degrees max, but 76 to 80? No, I don't even want to go outside when it's 80 degrees. Some of you guys are probably rolling your eyes like 8 degrees is not that bad. No, it's bad. I do not like the heat, at least not that much. What do you think so far? Is this a deal breaker? Is this a resolvable fight? How big of a fight is this? Wait, how hot is the conflict?
um, no, I can't help but think of why do people in the winter time? I'm assuming if you're living in a place where you have like four seasons type of thing.
Yeah.
Why wasn't when it's winter, people set the thermostat like way higher, and then when it's summer, they put it like way lower than let's say if 72 is like the middle range. In winter, during winter, people set it to like 75, and during summer, they set it to like 68. I never understood that.
Okay, let me explain to you the logic, okay? Let me explain. So when it's hot outside, you want to come home to a cool home and cool environment. No, the lower temperature, the greater the feeling. Like you want to feel that like cool chill wash over you. But then the same thing happens if it's freezing outside and you walk into a toastier home. It's like how I think about it is, okay, if I'm outside and it's like 20 degrees Fahrenheit and then I go into a 73-degree Fahrenheit home, it's like, it feels so toasty and warm. It's like it helps balance me out. That's what it feels like. Am I crazy? Do you guys feel that too? Does this make any sense to anybody?
Yes, but that's a very like short-term benefit, right? Because you're gonna stay inside for a long time.
Well, you can adjust it after you like get the initial like nice toasty
No,
feeling
but it
or
seems
nice
people
chill
don't adjust
feeling.
it. In a lot of public places, that seems to be the case. For example, in schools, they would like blast the heat like crazy during winters.
That's true. But I wonder if that's due to like poor infrastructure.
Yeah, I guess could be.
When I went to Texas on a trip to Texas, it was 104 degrees outside and humidity was like at 70% or so. So pretty hot and humid. When I tell you, I looked like a freaking tourist. I was wearing shorts and a crop top, and I'm still hot. Of course, I put on sunscreen. And literally everywhere I go, I see people in Texas in jackets. And I'm like, this is 104 degrees. How are people dealing with this? But then when I walked into a building, I understood why. All the malls, all the buildings were freezing cold. So I feel like Texas gets it. I just don't expect it to be that extreme where I need a jacket inside the buildings when it's 104 degrees outside. But maybe I'm just not used to it.
Yeah, it seems kind of unhealthy to me, the temperature change, and also not good for your bill, right? Not good for environment to
I mean,
do
you're
that.
right. It's not good for the environment, not good for the bill. Probably not good for your health in the long run when you're going from one drastic temperature to another. But I mean, what is too drastic? What do people tend to keep their home at? I think my ideal temperature is 70 degrees. My ideal. What is yours?
I kind of take back what I said earlier. I think it depends on the season, but I go
Oh, okay. So
okay,
it does
but
depend
I
on the
tend to
season.
go the other way to kind of conserve, I guess, the energy.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense because if if you're only like right before you go, like if it's a day where we're busy and we're going out, it feels weird to me to adjust the thermostat to my ideal temperature. Only because okay, I'm not going to be home anyway, so I'm not really going to feel the difference if that makes sense. Like if we're not home, I think it makes more sense at least during the winter to keep it a little bit on the cooler side.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it does automatically.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we can adjust with ours. But let me know, guys. Quickly, let me know. What is your ideal home temp? Like, are you also team 76 to 80 degrees? Because I will be low key judging, to be completely honest with you, because that's a sauna. I don't know what you're doing at home, but that's a sauna. That's like a hot yoga environment at home. Or are you more in the chill side and aiming for, like OP says, preferring the 65 to 70? Opie says he feels that my perception of it being too hot is entirely hormonal and physiologic, and that I'm being ridiculous with my complaints. He regularly asks me if I am menopausal or premenopausal. I acknowledge that I take many medications following treatment for cancer a couple of years ago and do have a heat intolerance, but the intolerance doesn't make me hot, nor do I ask for an unreasonable temperature correction. We are both overweight and actively working to lose weight. So I don't feel like that is as much of a variable as we both have that variable at play. I can only take so many clothes off, but he doesn't feel like he should be expected to wear additional clothing or use a blanket. I am really struggling to not feel devalued in the choice to keep the house so hot. I will get so hot while cooking to the point that I need to open the windows, and he gets very upset at that. But at 79 degrees Fahrenheit, the furnace runs constantly anyway, so the windows are only making me more comfortable in a hot space and not wasting energy or costing extra. Am I being unreasonable or petty in my ask? Am I the a hole for opening the windows, or am I justified in this frustration? For reference, during the summer, he'll run the AC once the outside temperature is hitting the 80s and will keep it at around 72 to 74 degrees Fahrenheit, which is typically okay to warm for me. But I can usually deal with that pretty well because at least it's cool air. When he's away for at least several hours, I turn the heat down as low as the settings allow or shut it off just for a break. This is the only time I adjust the thermostat. Oh my gosh. This is not the way to live. I'm sorry. What? I just imagine that when husband is not at home, Obi's just quietly sneaking, looking around her shoulder every 2 seconds to make sure he's not like, to make sure the car's not in the driveway still, and then rushing to the thermostat to like turn the temperature down extremely low, like all the way down, or turn it off completely. And then when husband comes home, she's like scurrying to the thermostat to like turn it back up to 80 or something. Um, in light of Valentine's Day coming up, I have to ask, did he even ask you to be his Valentine? This does not seem like the relationship in which your husband's even gonna care about your feelings all that much. And you guys might be saying, oh my gosh, this is just a thermostat thing. V, you always have to go jump to the, you know, deeper questions of a relationship. Like, do you even care? But honestly, for real, does he even care about you? I would be furious. This is the same thing as imagine you're uncomfortable and your partner goes, are you going through menopause? That would piss me off. That's the same thing. That's the same line of question as, I think you're being a little bit too hormonal. Are you on your period again? Excuse me? I, first off, you know what? When I'm on my period, I do like temperatures slightly differently, but that's besides the point. If I am bringing up a concern in which I'm uncomfortable, you better not hop to the, are you hormonal? Excuse me? I'm pissed for you, OP. And second off, what what exactly is the electricity bill looking like? You guys are keeping it constantly in the 79 and 80 degrees, but then you're cooking in the kitchen, making lunch and or dinner or whatever, and every single time you feel hot, you're opening up windows. So what exactly is the temperature in the home? What is the point of keeping it on at that temperature if you're just going to open the windows? But then does your husband even know the difference? Does he even feel the difference? Or is this more like become a principle thing? You mentioned that your husband's whole deal with the temperature was because as a kid he could never control the temperature. So now he insists that he's the sole controller of the thermostat. Has he perhaps considered therapy? I don't know. If he's linking his whole control of the relationship and his, I don't know, man of the houseness feelings to controlling environment temperature, I feel like this is a bigger situation than you can handle on your own because clearly he's not even listening to you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the husband needs to compromise here because that doesn't seem like he's compromising at all. And he somehow has the ownership of the thermostat, which in a relationship, as I would think you have two equal partners, you would both be able to compromise on that.
It's on temperature. He's acting like it is like ownership of the credit cards or financial bank accounts or something. To be honest, I could not take someone seriously, especially if they're my partner, if they say to me, "No, it's important that only I control the thermostat in our home. I am the sole controller." It's giving, you know that line from Breaking Bad where Walter White he goes, "I'm the one who knocks." I can't. I can't. I'm just cracking up
I was
like
gonna say that.
it's like, are you serious? I didn't even take it seriously when Walter White said it. Why would I take it seriously if this guy is saying that about the thermostat? If it were me, I think I would have chosen malicious compliance. I'm not gonna lie. I probably would have started like getting some like personal like giant like one of those really like what is it? Those very cool, gigantic, the Dyson fans where they're like soundless, but they rotate and they blow all this cool air and they kind of look like a bubble wand. I would get a bunch of fans and then wherever I move in the house, I would just bring it with me, to be honest. I would start putting like bowls of ice in each room that I'm in just to be excessive, just to make a point. Is that petty? I don't know. What would you do? What would you do if I was insistent like 80 degrees, no compromise, that's it? I might compromise 78. 78, that's it. What would you do?
See, that's not a compromise.
That's my compromise.
It's not. we
What would
would
you
have
do though?
we would have an argument. We would have a fight over it, I guess.
I just imagine their fights are literally like, did you touch the thermostat again? Yes, I did. It was too hot. You're just on menopause. Like, I'm so sorry, Opie. This sounds absolutely miserable. Um, yeah, but no, I don't think you're being unreasonable or petty. I don't think I've ever had to say this, but you are definitely justified in your frustration and in opening the windows in your own home as it's too flipping hot. I wonder if you switch the thermostat like settings to Celsius and you switch the numbers, if he would notice.
Yeah.
Dang it, he would, wouldn't
I
he?
mean, 70 degrees Celsius?
Yeah.
That is, you cannot survive that. The heat does not go that high.
Oh, forget what he says. Just keep changing it. Or better yet, if you're able to on your thermostat, if it's a smart thermostat, see if you can have it almost like set it automatically so that husband can change his thermostat however he wants to 80, but it will always slide back down to 74, 72. That would drive him crazy. Oh my gosh, that would be such a good idea. So bad for the relationship, but such a good idea in the long run for your well-being. Anywho, I would highly recommend you guys, well, I would say have a conversation, but you guys already had the conversation and he's ignoring you. Can we dump him? Is this too soon? Is this too dumb? Of all the reasons to dump someone, I feel like this is very valid because it affects your physical well-being and now your mental health.
Aren't they married?
Yes. Can she dump him? I think that's reasonable. Over thermostat temperature, it's dumb, but yeah.
So divorce over thermostat?
Yes. Can you imagine bringing this out to court? Your Honor, I would like to dump my husband. I'd like to divorce him over the temperature. It's too dang hot in this house. But let's see what the comments say. First comment from Young God, not Dejo, in bold. Your husband isn't the sole ruler of the thermostat. He can put on a hoodie. You can't peel off your skin. Dismissing your discomfort as hormonal is a little condescending. You deserve a say. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a little condescending. It's extremely condescending. Another comment, not the old, good Lord, I can't even begin to imagine 77 to 79 degrees Fahrenheit is comfortable. Whether he likes it that way or not, you're both adults. Set the temperature to what you want and tell him to get over it. If you don't stand up for yourself, then he'll just walk over you in the conversation. His dismissal of your feelings of the matter, as well as his perception of you, is more or less insulting in my opinion. And honestly, if that were me, I'd be pissed off. I agree. I mean, all jokes aside, the biggest reason why I'm advocating for divorce here, dropping the D, because he's continuously dismissed what Opie says. There's no attempt to understand in their conversations. And it's very much my way or no way. So
I kind of disagree at least with one part of the comment.
where?
Is that setting the temperature to whatever you want?
Oh,
Like,
you'd be doing the same thing. It's kind of like an eye for an eye.
the guy should find a compromise. Set it like 72 and keep it at that.
That's not the compromise. That's just, you said you guys should find a compromise in such a serious way. And then you're like, yeah, just set it to 72. That's not a compromise.
Well, it is compromise. It's going to be too cold for him and it's going to be
Just right for her.
just slightly too warm for her.
No, she was okay with that.
Okay, well then if that's okay, then
Compromise.
I mean it is. Because she would keep it at 60 something, like 68 or so, ideally.
Let me see. What was the temperature? Between 65 to 70. Oh, you're right. You're right. She says she might go as high as 72 to 74. So I guess that would be a compromise. Yeah, going 72. Oh my goodness. I like how the title of this was I Like It Cool, Husband Likes It Hot. Never has there been a more true title for the story. Now, our next story is from the subreddit AITH. Am I the hoe for ending an 8-year friendship after my cameras recorded her in my home when I was out of town? Backstory: my friend and I met when I was her hairstylist. Then we realized that we only lived about 6 blocks apart. Due in part to the proximity, we became very close and she would stop by 3 or more times a week. We enjoyed a lot of the same crafts and we had a mutual love of plants, so we often worked together in my yard or hung out by the fire pit. She had a lot of constant personal relationship crises, which I always pointed out that she brought on herself, and it became more and more exhausting to spend time with her. Consequently, I slowly tried to limit our time together, although I did care about her and knew she didn't have many other friends. So I went out of town to visit my daughter at college, but before I left, I installed the new security system that I have received. It didn't really occur to me to mention it to anyone. When I was with my daughter, I told her about it and we got on her phone so I could teach her how to watch the cameras at home also. We have 2 cats and she wanted to be able to see them and interact with them. Aw. I was showing her how to see the clips from the motions detector earlier in the day. It was nighttime, so the house was dark, in which case the camera lights are on for detection. In a clip from 2 hours earlier, I noticed my friend walking through my house with a flashlight of her phone. She was inspecting every drawer, cupboard, and nook and cranny. My daughter and I were in shock. I texted her immediately. I asked her if she was at my house today, and she replied that she had been in the backyard picking up sticks, apparently for a fire pit she intended to have at her home that evening. Again, I asked her if she had been in the house. She responded that she had to go into my garage to look for a container. I then told her I had security cameras now. She laughed and asked why I was asking her if she was there, because I had obviously seen her already in the backyard. She had no clue that I also installed them in the house. So I sent her a screenshot and asked her if she knew who that person might be in my house with the flashlight. She waited a few minutes to respond and then said, "Oh, yeah, your cat got out." I asked her how my cat would get out if nobody was in the house, and she responded, "I'm so sorry. I forgot that I was looking in your house for some gel pens because I needed to do artwork." I reminded her that she had just bought 100 of them the previous week. At this point, I was really getting pissed. I told her that I was freaked out that I saw her sneaking around my house with a flashlight and that made me uncomfortable. She just kept laughing it off, and then when she realized I was really upset, she changed her tune to one of remorse and said she just needed to find something to do because she was upset with her boyfriend. I told her that I didn't think I could spend time with her anymore because I had spent years trying to teach her about boundaries and our friendship was beginning to exhaust me. Are you sure she just values you and likes you as a friend? I say this because this is starting to feel okay. Hear me out. Is this not a little calculated? Maybe, like imagine this, okay? You come in, you become friends from her cutting your hair, and you guys bond over time, and you guys get closer and closer. You're hanging out all the time now. She's always telling you about these boyfriend dramas, but never really in a relationship for very long. Hmm. And then she's conveniently hanging out at your house all the time. And when you're out of town, she's just treating your house like hers. She's in your yard. She's hanging out with your cats. She's inside your home looking through every drawer. I don't know. Maybe it's the goosebumps speaking, but I think she's a little obsessed with you and could potentially be a stalker. Why are you making a face?
I'm not getting that for some reason. I think
You're not getting the whole stalker, you,
no,
Joe from you
no.
vibes?
I think all this was just her being kind of, I guess, curious and snooping around. I think that's all it was.
What do you mean?
And then she lied
You think
about
this
it.
is normal?
I don't think it's normal, but I think that's what she did.
You think she was just like, "Oh, I was bored." Like one of her excuses. "Oh, I was bored, didn't have anything to do, so I went inside your house and tried to look at every single drawer."
Yeah, I think she used the opportunity for the.
What? No way.
I
No.
can see that. Not that I would do that myself, but.
Excuse me. All right, honey. Remind me not to leave you alone in the house. If her friends are listening to this, watch out. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to do that.
Hey, I
But
got bored, so I looked for every drawer to see what you got in there.
what the heck? That's so creepy. No, no,
Hey,
no.
that's how I'm seeing it. I could be wrong.
I love how you're saying it so innocently. Like, oh, she was just bored and
I
she
mean,
decided
it
to
is
just
like.
mess around.
I mean,
This
you
is
could say
OP's
that.
home.
Yeah, this is kind of you break break the trust, right? It's not a. I don't know why I'm laughing, but it is serious. Like you shouldn't be doing that.
It's kind of creepy. Wait, how does she get in OP's house?
She has the key.
Does she?
Yeah,
Why are you saying that so matter of factly?
she was feeding the cats, right?
No, she didn't say anything about that.
I thought the OP was out
Yeah,
somewhere.
OP's out of town.
Yeah, so she has to feed the cats. No,
No. OP never asked her to go inside the home to feed the cats.
Oh, okay.
No, but she does have her cats at home because she was checking the security camera and she told her daughter, she was trying to show her daughter, oh, look. And her daughter wanted to see the cat. So they, I guess, opened up whatever app or
Okay.
program to see the video, to see the cats. Oh, honey, you're so innocent. I love how you had the whole like storyline available, like ready. Like, oh no, she was there just to feed the cats and she got bored. She started snooping. No. Okay, that's so like, well, somewhat wholesome how
Or she
you
wasn't
see
she
it.
checking on the cats?
No,
Mm,
she's claiming that, oh, at first she claimed, I was just in your backyard picking up sticks,
okay.
which is like, okay, I guess. And then OP went, no, no, but were you in my house? Who was in my house? And she went, oh, yeah, I had to go inside your house because your cat got out. And then OP's like, wait, there's no one in the house and no one opened the door. So then how would my cat get out if no one opened the door? And that's when the friend went, oh, actually, sorry. I was just looking for some gel pens,
Yeah, okay.
which is like, come on, like gel pens. In this day and age, who is like using that many gel pens like that? Actually, I take that back. Maybe she's an artist, and all the artists are going to scream at me for saying gel pens are not obsolete. People still use gel pens, but I don't know. I'm a digital girl. I just type everything, even digital art. I'm like, yeah, digital. But come on, is this not giving like you vibes? So You is a Netflix show, guys. If you have watched or may have heard of it, basically this guy who is, without giving away too much, mm, you might say overly obsessed with his objects of, or people, not objects, people of affection, people who he crushes on. I'm telling you, I think your friend is in love with you. That's my money. I don't think it's so wholesome. Like, oh, let me just go check on the cats, and oh, whoops, I'm bored. Let me go snoop inside a drawer here
How's that
too.
wholesome?
Well, that's what you were saying.
I
I'm
didn't say
trying
it
to
was
justify it for
wholesome.
you. Well, the way you're saying it's like, oh no, like that's kind of weird, but it's fine. It's fine.
I'm not saying it's fine. I think that's what happened though.
Well, let's see. Let's see. Um, First of all, I'm really glad that OP cut the boundary. But before we get into the rest of the story, I will say, OP, I really, really hope you change the locks because I want to know how she got inside your house because you weren't expecting her, unless you're like one of those people who like, I don't know, I see in the cartoons all the time, either leave their door open, which why, or like hide the key inside a plant or something in your front door. Like,
Put it under the mat.
or put it in the mat. Please don't do that, by the way. And if you are doing that, maybe change the locks to your house because I am scared for you a little. Now, Opie says, so I was telling the story to the guy that rents my basement, and he said that she's at my house every time I'm out of town. He was used to seeing her around, so he thought maybe I'd asked her to do something there. It just got so creepy. It's just, oh no. No, no, no. Like, imagine you're best friends with this chick and you think you're so close and she's fine and normal. And the minute you go out of town, once you find out all the crazy things she does in your home when you're not there. I mean, I find it understandable that the guy that rents the basement just, sees them around together and then will automatically just assume, oh, that's the friend. I always see you with the owner. So she's probably here to do something. So I don't blame the guy. Obi says 2 weeks later, she texted and needed relationship advice and acted like since we were so close, it shouldn't be a big deal. I told her what my basement renter said. I was super pissed at this point, and she became very offended and said it was nobody else's business and I should not have told anybody about it. I told her our friendship was definitely over and to not contact me again. And I told her that I was removing myself from toxic people. Later, I was talking to one of my other friends, also a client, about it, and they kind of made me feel that I was not a very good friend because I needed to have a talk with her and forgive her. They said that people make mistakes and I need to forgive them, and she should get another chance. Since she was exhausting me anyway, I just can't bring myself to want to have anything to do with her. Am I the a-hole? P.S. She did not have a key. I did not always lock my back garage door. Lesson learned.
Oh man.
I don't know what's crazier. The fact that this ex-friend does all of this and she's never expressed remorse, by the way. Like, not in a real way. Not in a, I'm so sorry I violated your privacy and have been invading your home several times every single time you're out of town. But, oh, I'm so sorry I got caught. Dang it. Like, that's what it feels like. Like, shoot. And then the fact that She just texts her like nothing happened. Like, so girl, I need help on another boyfriend. I'm starting to think that these relation like boyfriend problems aren't real. Are you getting that vibe? Like, this
No.
is the link that she's getting to talk to OP because that's what they bonded over. So I feel like every single time it's just her way of eliciting pity and getting the girl relationship mended again or something. I don't think the relationship problems are real. I really don't. And if they are, then honestly, I'm also not surprised because she sounds like a bucket of insanity that I would not want to have anything to do with. So I don't understand how this person could maintain relationships. What scares me is when you brought up what the basement renter said to your ex-friend, her reaction was, "Oh, why would you talk to other people about us? Why would you tell other people this?" Um, um, I I think you're kind of missing the point. No? No? Okay, let me give you one point of advice. Please stop being friends with your clients and people you meet through services that you pay them for or they pay you for. And I say this because not that you can't be friends with other people and hairstylists and whatever, but the hairstylist friend who's invading your home, a questionable person to say the least. And then now the second person you're talking to, also a client of yours, is telling you, oh no, people make mistakes and you should forgive them. Are you sure that your client isn't a plant from the hairstylist telling you to forgive her? Because I don't know any normal person that would give you the advice after hearing your story of how she invaded your home multiple times and say, you know what? People make mistakes. It's okay. You should forgive. What is it? Forgive and forget. We will all move on. Oh, maybe your client who's giving you this advice should be best friends with the sister from story one. I think they would get along well. They have the whole mantra down, like the whole, it's okay. We're all friends here. Everything will be overlooked and forgiven. I'm sorry. No, 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 no. What freaks me out though is that I was right. She did not have a key. So either she is just master picking your lock somehow, or she made a copy of your key, which I wouldn't be surprised with how much time you guys spent together. Or she just walked in through your back garage door, which you don't lock. Which why? Why? See, maybe it's me growing up in this paranoid universe in this day and age, but I can't fathom not locking and checking your doors like every time you're home. If anything, I get paranoid. I'll double check. I'll lock it and then 5 minutes later, I'm gonna sit there and be like, wait, let me glance again. Did I lock it? Okay, okay. I get paranoid. Oh no. Life is too short. Like, let me put it simply. Life is way too short to tolerate people with nonsense, with complete, utter nonsense in your life. Yeah, I think she's the very definition of toxic. Please stay away from her. You might want to block her number. Um, I'm honestly surprised you didn't file some sort of report just in case to have it on file against her for breaking into your home multiple times. But she knows where you live. Like I cannot emphasize this enough. This woman has not only acted on what she's wanted to do, but she's broken into your home multiple times casually. Yeah, change all your locks. Block her, please. And ignore any clients or people that are convincing you to forgive her because this is just a no. It's a no for me. I also would recommend that you do not go to her for your next hair cutting session. You don't know how she's going to cut your hair. I don't know. What is your advice for OP here? And
And
should
the
she
relationship,
forgive?
I don't, I wouldn't.
Are you sure about that? What if she was just innocently, she was just bored. And so whenever she's bored, she just goes, ah, let me go check the drawers at my friend's house.
Yeah, no. That's a big no.
Any advice for her?
Yeah, and the relationship.
Well, she is trying to end it, but she keeps messaging her and saying, no, girl, we're so close. That was nothing. Let's get over and be friends again.
Just block the number, move on.
Yep. Move on. Block and move on, please. So there is an update actually. Update. The reason I second guessed myself is because of my own weak boundaries. I felt sorry for her and thought it probably wouldn't happen again. But that was before I found out that she had done it many times before. And my other friend that told me that I should forgive is just a super kind and loving person. Yeah, okay. More like a dumb person. Oh, what? Did I say that out loud? Opie says, I know I made the right decision, but of course there is a sadness and loss of what I thought was an 8-year friendship. I appreciate all the comments and feel good about the decision I made. Yes, doors are locked and security in place. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one screaming at OP. Lock your doors. It is 2020. Oh, I was about to say 2024. It is 2025. Lock your doors, check the locks, and block toxic people, please. First comment. You know what a good friend doesn't do? A good friend doesn't sneak into your house without your permission to bum around every time you're out of town. Not the a-hole. Yeah, point taken. Yeah, point taken. Another comment in response to I was talking to one of my clients about it. Your client is an idiot. You did the right thing, not the a-hole at all. Agreed. See, what pisses me off is like the type of person who's going to say, forgive, no matter the situation, no matter the circumstance. That's literally you having no boundaries and preaching to just let everyone just rip you off, no matter what happens. No, no, no. I think there are times to forgive and there are times to amend relationships, but there are also times to put your dang foot down and say no. And this is one of them. Ooh, someone also commented, I would also run all 3 credit bureau reports and see if anything odd shows up. Snooping around means access to valuables and financial information. Confirm that all of your vital paperwork is still at your house. Change the locks immediately and tell the renter to call the police if they see her again. Oh, this is a good point, actually. On a serious note, she could have had access to your mail, to your letters, private information, anything like that. So I would go ahead and check all of that as well. Yikes. Now, our last story is we're going to end it with a slightly more happy note or happy topic, I want to say. It's weddings. This last story is from the subreddit Am I the Hole? Am I the hole for being greedy and rude while planning my wedding? I, 28-year-old female, and my fiance, 36-year-old male, are planning our wedding. And last night, he accused me of being greedy and rude. Background, I come from a wealthy family and have worked hard to manage finances responsibly. My father has given each daughter $122,000 for their wedding. My sisters use all of it for their weddings, but I asked to use $70K for the wedding and a $10K for the honeymoon, saving $40K to help with future children's expenses. My dad agreed to this plan, but only if I could make the wedding work with that budget. I think this story just called me poor in 10 different ways.
Why such a specific number though?
The allocations?
122,000.
I don't know. Maybe it just sounded like a good number for the dad. But imagine being in a position where you can honestly say, like with a straight face, you know, I'm all for you saving money and investing in your future with part of your finances that I'm giving you, but only if you can make $70,000 work for your wedding. Okay, as a bride myself who's also planning wedding stuff, yes, weddings are expensive, but it is not so impossible to plan a wedding under 70K. 70K is a lot of money. Is it not? Oh, Pete, don't mind me. I'm just low key jealous of you. That's so nice. Good for you. Good for you. Yay to your dad giving you 120K for the wedding. That's so nice of him. But also, I think he's over worrying. I think 70K is a good enough amount. And good on you for splitting part of that money for the honeymoon. 10K for a honeymoon. Nice. That's very nice. And 40K to actually help with future children's expenses. So I love that you're putting part of that away. Love that. But let's continue. Obi says, I didn't make this decision lightly. When I first got engaged 5 months ago, I considered using the full amount for a European wedding, but I realized I didn't want to prioritize that. A wedding is one day, and securing our future financial stability seemed more important. You are correct. My fiance has been patient, but has accused me of delaying the wedding due to indecisiveness. Though I'm just overwhelmed by spending so much on one day and managing everything else. Last night, I asked him to review venues for a tour we're doing Monday. He rushed through options and I started to cry from stress. I also wanted to vet the venue's prices before booking, but this frustrated him. Wait, your fiance is mad that you actually want to know the prices of venues before you book them? Wait, do people actually book venues without looking at the price tag
Is it the book or just to look at it?
before booking?
Oh, so they're gonna why would they book before looking?
Honey, I think the OP and her fiance lives in a different slightly different, perhaps tax bracket from us. Perhaps it is very normal for them to book and buy before looking. I can't relate, but good for you, OP. Good for you. I will say though, I'm with OP in the sense where it's very normal to feel overwhelmed. it's an emotional process in some ways because you're kind of given a lot of different options. There's so many things you could do with the wedding. It's a big event. There's all this pressure, and it's not an easy decision to make at times. So I can get that maybe fiance might be frustrated because maybe he already has a direction in his mind of where he wants to go with the wedding, what he wants to do, and you guys are at odds of where to make the decision. I get that, but I also think you're being very smart about this because it's better to be more careful before booking anything than to book it and then have regret and then try to pull out of it because some of the wedding contracts you sign, things like that, it can be tough. Like you can't get deposit back or whatnot potentially if you cancel. So I'm kind of with you for now. Now, OP says, he said, I was rude for not wanting to use all of the money for a wedding that he would love, claiming that going over budget was fine because this was our most important day. He has always dreamed of a grand wedding with lots of guests. He criticized the venue I liked, an old library that only seats 180 and fits our budget. He said I was being rude by limiting my guest list to 60 people so he could invite 120 of his family. Wait. So he's mad that the venue's too small and it only seats 180 and he can only invite 120 people? Wow. OP, I think this is a problem where you guys have very different expectations for what your wedding's going to be. You're thinking, moderate size wedding in something that you like, old library style. And he's thinking grand, like I'm thinking Beauty and the Beast ball level with, he's complaining about 180 guest lists. So how grand is he thinking? I think you guys have a bigger problem. I'm just saying. But let's see. Obi says, he also accused me of being greedy for wanting to save the leftover money and said I looked like I was hoarding it. He argued that since we are financially well off, I shouldn't worry about saving for our future children. He also mentioned that our wedding planner had supposedly said that I was being greedy, though he later admitted to making that up to show me how rude I was being. I thought I was being fiscally responsible by saving the extra money, but now I'm questioning if I made the right decision. Am I the a-hole? I've never seen a story where Opie is asking if they're the a-hole for saving money and not spending it. You look like you have some thoughts.
I have a hard time relating.
That's true. They're
So let's say, so from what I've heard is that they're very
wealthy.
very wealthy.
Yes.
Right. So in that case, does it make sense for them? Like how wealthy are they? Is the difference between 70K and
Mhm.
120K is minimal for them?
From the attitude of how OP's saying it, I don't think it's like nothing. Like it's not like she's looking at, the 50K difference between 70 and 120 that she's trying to save here as like nothing. But she's also not looking at as, oh my God, this is a nest egg. It's more like, you know what? Let me try and be a little bit more conservative about this. That's the feeling I'm getting because she's willing to drop 10K for the honeymoon and 40K to potentially help with future children's expenses.
Right, but what if they're like filthy rich?
Mm. Then I guess you can almost see the other side too, then that, okay, money isn't a problem for us. So why are you pinching pennies
Right.
then for my dream wedding or for our dream wedding? So I see it from that way too. Oh, I was actually going to go for not the a-hole from OP, but if they're really that wealthy as fiance and OP describes, like to that level where this money isn't really that much of an issue for them, and she's ignoring what he wants as well, like the fiance wants as well, then I would almost say she could be seen as a-hole. I think I'm in the boat of need more info, to be honest, because it really does matter. Because at end of the day, I think they're both guilty of ignoring each other's wishes when you think about it. But you could also make the argument that the money was given from OP's dad and not fiance's dad. So I wonder if that factors into it.
Yeah, I'm confused, I guess, where they get the money from. I guess it's just coming from their family.
Well, their dad gave it to them. Their
No,
dad gave each daughter.
in general.
Oh,
Like, is it their own funds that they're using, or
you mean
it's
from the family or what?
yeah, right. Like, how are they making money? Like, are they rich themselves? And it's just
Oh, like it could be the family money, but not necessarily that OP fiance or that wealthy. So that could also play a factor.
right because maybe the
Oh.
the OP doesn't want to use
Right.
family's money because I don't know. Are they using family's money to survive? Well, survive, I guess, to live.
Yeah. I think we need more information on this one.
But in any case, like I don't agree with OP's fiance's, the whole like
Oh, the
making
mentality.
up, making up the lies and just the approach on the situation. So I would personally lean on that OP that is not the a hole.
Yeah. I think attitude wise, at least from what we're seeing, I think OP's approach, I wouldn't say OP's the a hole necessarily. Assuming money is nothing. If money were to be nothing, and assuming fiance's always wanted this big grand wedding, but OP's the one that keeps putting her foot down and saying, no, I want smaller. I want less. I want to do the old library instead of this grand ballroom or whatnot. Then I think that's also unfair. But then you could also make the argument that, oh, but her dad gave them money. So does that give her more of a say in how the weddings go?
Like at the same time, I'm just very confused by their financial situation.
I mean, all we know is that they're well off. That's all they
Yeah,
say.
but like 40K, I get it. It's okay money, but like what is to me like the numbers don't add up. They're like, okay, you save it for the kids and the
Yeah.
expenses. Yeah, that's a good chunk of money, but
Yeah.
that to me seems kind of very like
Little to someone who like whose family can afford to
right
give
or
each kid
arbitrary. Like it
120.
just why?
Yeah.
Like what's the reasoning behind that? I guess that's the part I'm missing.
Well, I wonder if it's also OP trying to be when she's mentioned a couple times she's trying to be more financially responsible. I think the family's probably very rich, but and OP and her husband, my guess is that they're also well off, but not at nearly as well off. Like I don't think they're nearly at the same level. Because to them, this is still like, whoa, this is a nice chunk. Like this is a
Okay.
big gift. And I'm thinking that she maybe doesn't see it as, maybe she sees it as this is their family money and then there's my money or our money. And just in case, it's just a smarter thing to do to at least save part of it. So I'm not using it all up on one day.
Okay.
I mean, it could also be possible that she just doesn't feel comfortable spending all that money in one day
All right.
and she wants to split up a different way. Like she doesn't provide any other rationale for how she's splitting it up. But one thing to point out is fiance is like thinking of what was it that he said here? He said it's fine to go over budget because it's our most important day. Oof, I feel like that's a red flag. If you guys are already butting head over financial issues now and you're not even wedded yet, I think you should pause some of the wedding decision making and have a conversation about how you guys view finances first. Because no matter how well off you guys are, if you guys are conflicted on how you're going to spend money, that's going to be a problem in the relationship. So I think that's what the conversation is really about here. I'd say have that conversation first. Do you agree with that mentality? Oh, like some people think, oh, it's just one day. I shouldn't spend all that much. Whereas other people go the opposite end of the spectrum and go, no, it's my one day. I'm going to go big or go home.
I think it's up to people to decide what they want. I know what I personally want. I don't
And what do you want?
somewhere in the middle. I'm not gonna go too crazy,
Yeah.
but all at the same time, for that one day, I'm not gonna skim too much either. So somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. I think it's all about, at least for us, when wedding planning, it was a lot of prioritizing what we want and to what degree that we want it, at what level, if that makes sense. Like we're not going to book the bougiest hotel, but we're also not going to do, the cheapest little inn or motel with the old carpets and the smoke, like the smoke stains smelling like wallpaper either, Like it's a healthy medium, maybe leaning on a slightly nicer because wedding. Oh, I'm so excited for our wedding though. I feel bad being like, I'm so excited for the wedding when OP's over here like, I'm so miserable and stressed.
Boo hoo! I don't know where to put the money. I have
I
too
know, I
much
can't
money
really.
to worry about.
I wish we had, well, not their money struggles really, but had the concern of, oh my gosh, so stressful. How do I allocate this 120K in my pocket? Oh my gosh, so stressful. I wish we had that problem here. But let's see what the comments say. First comment from Spiritual Cry, not Dale, and do not marry this man until after the two of you have gone through some serious prenuptial counseling. The number one reason that people divorce is over money issues, and you two are not even on the same continent, let alone the same page. This is important, OP. Do it. You and your future children deserve it. I agree. echoing what I said. Opie says, thank you for your thoughts. We are currently in premarital counseling, and I think revisiting our finances and what our goals are would be important. Yeah, I think that's needed. Oh, some people did ask, what is your fiance contributing to his own wedding? He's the greedy and rude one for wanting a lavish wedding on another man's dime, which is embarrassing. I don't care if it's tradition that the father of the bride pays. Guessing he's selectively traditional and is not being a prider and paying for everything? OP responds, hello, thank you for your comments. To answer the question, he has offered to ask his side of the family to pay for some things like the rehearsal, etc. But I've actually asked him not to. I think that the gift we've been given has been more than generous and that we could have a really beautiful wedding for 70K. Some comments have pointed out that he may not have felt like he was part of the decision-making process and felt left out, disrespected, and not heard. I think he may have been feeling that way, so my plan is to go back and ask him to go through the process with me so we're both on board, but still stay firm in my wish to save money for our future children because I no longer feel guilty about not being able to have the biggest wedding. Interesting. Okay, this is a little concerning to me because fiance's really wants this huge lavish wedding to the point where he's willing to ask his side of the family to pay for things. Wait, am I crazy? 120K is a very big gift. You could do a lot with even 70K for a wedding. But the way fiance is acting, it's like, that's nothing compared to what I want. Like, dude, do you want like a whole Disney wedding? Although I heard the Disney weddings are very expensive as well. I don't exactly know how expensive they are. I mean, I'm glad that Opie's making the adjustment and she plans on including him in more of the decision-making process, which honestly should have happened from the beginning. But I still worry that the financial conversation needs to be had. So I wish you luck, OP. I wish you luck. Does OP's additional information or comments clarify anything for you or change your mind about anything?
No, it just points out that I don't think they're aligned on their financials, and even though P, I don't know if she knows her own financials. To be honest, the way it sounds is just very arbitrary. I don't know.
It sounds like she's, you know what? It almost feels like, oh, I watched some videos, I read some articles, and it said being financially savvy means I have to do this, this, and this. And I will do this, this, and this. That's what it feels like. It doesn't seem like she or the fiance have any set financial goals. And I think that's where they're kind of butting heads. I'm hoping you guys are able to work it out, maybe get on the same page. Maybe the counseling might help. But yeah, I think even before the wedding decisions, maybe you guys want to take a quick pause to talk about that first. And that's my take on it. What are your thoughts on this? What advice do you have for Opie? And are you getting the same red flags from the fiance as I'm feeling? Let me know. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to like this video, guys. These are stories for today. And if you enjoyed it, subscribe. And if you're listening to me on Spotify, don't forget to rate this podcast 5 stars. I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, and if you're going to be tuning into the Super Bowl, comment below. What ad are you looking forward to the most? Because I know Super Bowl is famous for their ads. And which team are you rooting for? I heard it's what? It's the Chiefs versus the Eagles, I think, right? Yeah. Okay, so let me know which team you're rooting for. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.